This looks terrible. It looks better in the picture. What do you think? Am I ready for the beach? Okay. Most podcasters will have a bunch of props and stuff like that. I've got a hat. I'm all about the books. I'm all about the books. And if you stay to the end, I will tell you. Let's put that over there. I will tell you how I would fix the number one bestseller. Yeah, I know it's the number one bestseller. I know she was on the list for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. And this is a book that I did read personally. I did a review on it January 2024. So you can go check that out. But I was just thinking this a few minutes ago how I would have fixed it. So welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina KOSTINA. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smashy stuff going on here. Welcome to If Then 64-5 around there. I didn't check that this morning. This was supposed to be. Yes, Miss Sandy. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. She's been a little needy today. Ah! Ah! Here. Here. Oh no, that's my sister's bed. No, 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 no. No, no. No, this is my sister's bed. I'm not staying here. So where was I? So I will tell you, if you stick to the end, how I would fix this book. Yes, it's really perfect for all of you beach readers out there. Yes, millions and millions of people bought this book. Yes, it was a bestseller. But I will tell you how it would have made it more interesting for me to read. So I'll tell you that at the end. And I also tell you that this was supposed to be top 10 beach read. Somewhere along the line it hit 20. There may be a little extra. There's one that I don't recommend for the beach, but you could take it anyway. It's called The Beach. And I will put up a picture. I will put up this picture. Here. That's the beach. I will put this up here. I don't know if that works. I can put it up. This is my beach. It's 70 blocks of beach. Very, very short beach. And what I mean by that is that from here to the water is very short. Compared to from here to the water at Jones Beach. You gotta walk miles at Jones Beach. From the parking lot, to the tunnels, to the sand, to the boardwalk, to the water. You gotta walk miles. Not here. Not here. We got 64 blocks of hotels, souvenir shops, and I'm telling you, I did this survey, my personal self, a few years ago, quite a few years ago. You can buy the box of taffy anywhere. Well, this was years ago prices, okay? So keep that in mind, that this was years ago prices. It's probably triple or quadrupled by this point. But you could get a box of taffy at $2 from one of the lower end shops that are in the blocks that are not frequented by tourists that much, or spend $10 at a shop that is frequented by tourists a lot. So that was the box of price gouging on taffy. I did that my own survey a couple years ago. Maybe more than a couple years ago, maybe 10, 15 the last time I was down there. So I will put the picture up so maybe you can see it a little bit better. But that was from the hotel. So, oh, my glasses. I got spots on my glasses. Let's get to these beach reads. I did go a little overboard, and I have, I don't know why, but my goal was, books, contemporary romances that took place in a beach area, resort area, vacation type situation. That was my goal for these beach reads. Most of them meet the category, but I did get a little carried away with some of them. So we have two by Emily Hilderbrand. I was just like, screw it, and I just picked both up. So the first one is The 5-Star Weekend. Hollis Shore's life seemed picture perfect. She's the creator of the popular food blog Hungry with Hollis and is married to Matthew, a dreamy heart surgeon. But after she and Matthew get in a heated argument one snowy morning, he leaves for the airport and is killed in a car accident. The cracks in Holly's perfect life, her stranded marriage, and her complicated relationship with a teenage Caroline grew deeper. So when Hollis hears about something called the 5-Star Weekend, one woman organizes a trip for her best friend from each phase of her life, her teenage years, her 20s, her 30s, her midlife. She decides to host her own 5-Star Weekend on Nantucket, but her weekend doesn't turn out to be the joyful Hallmark series she intended to be. So what happens? To read it to find out. Let's see. 28 Summers. When Mallory Blessing Link receives a deathbed instruction to a call number on a slip of paper in a desk drawer, he certainly doesn't expect Jake McLeod to answer. It's the late spring of 2020, and Jake's wife, Ursula, is the front runner in the upcoming presidential election. Link is sure there's a mistake. How do Mallory and Jake know each other? Flashback to the sweet summer of 1993. Mallory had just inherited a beachfront cottage on Nantucket from her aunt, and she agrees to host her brother Cooper's bachelor party. Cooper's college friend Jake McLeod attends, and Jake and Mallory form a bond that preserves through marriage, children, and Ursula's stratosphere political rise, until Mallory learns she's dying. Aww, what's depressing? For the beach? Denise Hunter, Summer by the Tides. Following a painful betrayal, Maddie Monroe's love life is a wreck, and her restaurant career is shambles when her grandmother goes missing and her estranged sisters converge at the family beach house in Sea Haven, North Carolina. Being with upright Nora and free-spirited Emma at the place where their family broke apart is a struggle, and undercurrents of jealousy and resentment threaten to pull the sisters under. In the midst of a storm, sparks begin to fly between Maddie and Gran's maddening neighbor, Connor Murphy. Is there a romance coming? One Italian Summer, Rebecca Searle. When Katie's mother dies, she's left reeling. To make matters worse, their mother-daughter trip looms. Now she's faced with embarking on the adventure alone. As soon as she steps foot on Amalfi Coast, Katie begins to feel her mother spirit, and then Carol appears in the flesh, healthy and 30 years old. Katie doesn't understand what's happening. All she can focus on is that somehow she's gotten her mother back. Over the course of one Italian summer, Katie gets to know Carol as a young woman. She is not who Katie imagined she might be, however, and Katie must reconcile the mother who she knew with the woman who does not yet have a clue. Summer reading. For Samantha Gale, a summer on Martha's Vineyard at her family tiny cottage was supposed to be about resurrecting her career as a chef, until she's tasked with chaperoning her half-brother Tyler. The teenage brainiac is spending his summer at the local library in a robotics competition, and there's no place for Sam, who has dyslexia, likes less than the library, and because the universe hates her, the library interim director turns out to be a hot reader guy whose book she accidentally destroyed on the ferry ride to the island. Bennett Reynolds is on a quest to find his father, who identify he's never known. He's taken the temporary job on the island to research the summer his mother spent there when she got pregnant with him. But Ben tells himself he isn't interested in a relationship now. Yet as soon as Sam knocks his books into the ocean, he can't stop thinking about her. Aww. Jennifer Weiner, The Summer Place. When her 22-year-old stepdaughter announces her engagement to the pandemic boyfriend, Sarah Danhauser is shocked, but the wheels are in motion. Headstrong Ruby has already set a date and spoken to her beloved Sarah's mother, Veronica, about having the wedding at the family's beach house in Cape Cod. Sarah might be worried, but Veronica is thrilled to be bringing the family together one last time before putting the big house on the market. But the road to a wedding day usually comes with a few bumps. Ruby has always known exactly what she wants, but as the wedding date approaches, she finds herself grappling with the wounds left by the mother who walked out when she was a baby. Veronica ends up facing unexpected news thanks to her meddling sister must revisit the choices she made long ago when she was a best-selling novelist with a different life. See what happens. RAEANNE Cottages on Silver Beach. Megan Hamilton never really liked Elliot Bailey. He turned his back on her family when they needed him the most, and it almost tore them all apart. So she's shocked when Elliot arrives at her family's inn, needing a place to stay and asking questions that dredge up the past. Megan will rent him a cottage, but that's where it ends, no matter how gorgeous Elliot becomes. What did he do? Why did he turn his back on them? Guess you'll have to read the book to find out. Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. When it comes to love, Emma is cursed. Every guy she dates finds his true love after they break up. But it turns out she's not the only one afflicted with this condition. His name is Justin, and his Reddit thread about being love's good luck charm has gone viral. Now the two have come up with an ingenious plan. If they date each other, their curses will cancel out, and they'll go to find their soulmate. Only Justin wasn't supposed to be unbelievably cute, smart, and hilarious. So will they be each other's love? Mermaid Beach. Sheila Roberts. Bonnie Brinks and her all-woman band, the Mermaids, are the pride of Moonlight Harbor, and that's just the right amount of fame for Bonnie. A lifetime ago, she went to Nashville to make it big, but she returned home with a broken heart and broken dreams. Now she's got a comfortable life and a brilliant daughter, Avril, who plays for the Mermaids alongside Bonnie and Bonnie's mother, Loretta. When the Avril announces she's leaving Moonlight Harbor, Bonnie's uncomfortable life seems to be drifting away. Will these generations of mermaids find their way to happy endings? Susan Mallory, When We Meet. Angel Whitaker earned his scars the hard way, but the scars that can't be seen are the ones that haunt him the most. Since he moved to Fool's Gold, California, he's cobbled together a life for himself as a bodyguard trainer. If he's not exactly happy, at least his heart is safe. Working with pro football stars tough-talking PR woman Tyron Crawford one thing. She can go toe-to-toe with any man. But then dark, dangerous former special ops angel targets her for seduction. See what happens there. One Night on the Island, Jose Silver. Spending her 30th birthday alone is not what dating columnist Cleo Wilder wanted, but she plans a solo retreat at the insistence of her boss in the name of reemerging herself and adding a new perspective to her column. The remote Irish island she's booked in is a far cry from London, but at least it's a chance to hunker down in a luxury cabin and indulge herself in some self-care while she figures out the next step in her life. Max Sullivan is also looking forward to some time with himself. With his life in Boston deteriorating in ways he can't bring himself to acknowledge, his soul searching has brought him to the same island to explore his Irish roots and find some clarity. Unfortunately, they both booked the same weekend in the same cottage. They'll have to deal with it. Maybe they'll find each other. Meet Me in Paradise, Libby HUBSCHER. Ever since her journalist mother died on assignment, Marin played it safe, refusing to step foot outside the state of Tennessee. Her wild child younger sister Sadie has trotted the globe as a photographer living off art and adrenaline. When Sadie returns from a tough assignment abroad and looks a little worse for wear, Marin reluctantly agrees to a sister spa weekend on the tropical island of Saba, but her lifelong fear of travel is justified when Sadie misses the flight. Marin's luggage gets mixed up with another passenger's, and an episode of turbulence sends her hurtling into the lap of Lucas, a very handsome guy. The Summer House, Hannah McKinnon. Flossie Merrill has managed. Don't you hate it when they cover up the words? Lives for a summer reunion at Family Rhode Island house. Little does her family know that she's facing some personal struggles of her own. With her own family finally congregated under one seaside roof, Fluffy is determined to steer her family back on course, even as she prepares to reveal the fate of the summer house that everyone has thus far taken for granted. She's selling it. The Merle children are both shocked and outraged, and each returns to the memories of their childhood at once beloved summer, the house where they have not only grown up, from which they have gotten away. Maybe they could pull together to help her out of whatever circumstances she's in. Oh, look, another beach house. Beach House Reunion. Claire Rutledge returns to Southern home on the idyllic Isle of Palms. Only through reconnecting with family, friends, and the rhythms of low country can Kara seize the hold of the past and open herself up to the possibility of a new love, career, and hope for the future. Meanwhile, her niece, Linnea, a recent college graduate who doesn't know where her life will take her, heads to her aunt's beach house. There she is part freer, neutral ocean lifestyle she loves. Remembering the lessons of her beloved grandmother Lovey, the original turtle lady, Linnea rediscovers a meaningful purpose to her life. Beach trip! Mel, Sarah, Annie, and Lola have traveled diverse paths since their years together at a small Southern liberal arts college during the 1980s. Mel, a mystery writer living in New York, is grappling with the aftermath of two failed marriages and a stalled writing career. Sarah, as an Atlanta attorney, struggles with her own slowly unraveling marriage. Annie, a successful natural businesswoman married to her childhood sweetheart, can't seem to leave behind the regrets of her youth, and sweet-tempered Lola whiles away her hours and her husband's money on little pills that kept her happy. Now all her friends are in their 40s, and they're going to spend a carefree weekend at their beach house. Now, I will tell you that I had a group of ladies, and we had an incident about 30 years ago. Plus the fact, well, two of us hadn't. No, three of us have. Three of us had an incident. Very, very minor, very, very minor. Just a slight misunderstanding. One of the young ladies was marrying, and her husband didn't want the rest of us. Well, anyway. So I should really edit this out, but anyway, I started this story. There were four of us in the group. Two moved out of state, and one lives on the East Coast and one lives on the West Coast. The other two stayed in state. The other two that stayed in state are now deceased. And these four women never met up again as a group. Ever. They swore to the end in their high school days that they would be together, thick as thieves. And one died, and they were all my exact age. Well, actually, no. I'm actually the youngest of. No, no, my other friend. I'm the middle child. I'm the middle child. We were actually born in order. Would you believe it? December, January, February, March. The oldest was December, and she died of cancer. Um, the youngest child had lots of physical issues, and she died of a heart attack. So the two middle kids on their separate coasts have not been in the same room with each other in 30 years. So that's where that went. So anyway, after that depressing monologue, every time I see one of my friends, the one that died of a heart attack with the health issues, she was obsessed with the Masked Singer. So every time I see commercials for the Masked Singer, I associate her with that. And she left 3 kids under the age of 18. Or maybe there is an 18, but the others are still in school. Smile Beach, Alyssa Bessette. When Callie is laid off from her reporting job, she returns to her hometown of Cattail Island and lands a gig at the local bookstore, the same one where she found comfort after her mother died. In fact, the anniversary of her mother's infamous death is approaching. Years ago, Terry Paget stumbled from the top of the lighthouse as islanders are once again gossiping about the tragedy. Devastating news strikes. The lighthouse has claimed another victim, Eva Meeks of Meeks Hardware. The police are calling it a suicide, but Callie does not believe Eva jumped any more than she believes her mother did, especially because Callie knows that before her death, Eva had dug up a long-forgotten treasure hunt that could have put a target on Eve's back. So she's got to go find out what that was. She's got to find out who killed her mom. That's a little more up my alley. We should put that in the cozy list. Mary Kate Andrews, Sunset Beach. Drew Campbell's life is adrift. She's out of a job and down on her luck, and life doesn't seem to be getting any better when her estranged father, Bryce Campbell, a flamboyant personal injury attorney, shows up at her mother's funeral after a 20-year absence. Worse, he's remarried to Drew's 8th grade friend, Wendy, now his office manager, and they're offering her a job. It seems like a job from hell, but the offer is sweetened by the news of her inheritance, her grandparents' beach bungalow in the sleepy town of Sunset Beach, a charming but storm-damaged eyesore now surrounded by waterfront McMansions. Does she take the job and work for those people or what? Alright. 2 books in 1. Nora Roberts. If you have not watched all of my 60 J.D. Robb, I do all 60 books, including the half ones. So there's probably 70 videos out there. I'm thinking about doing another one. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. It would be really time consuming for me, though. They would be short videos, but they would be time consuming to put together. But Eve Dallas, my lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department, with Peabody, Mavis, Leonardo, Feeney, Whitney, Mira, Rourke, Somerset, Galahad, Peabody, McNabb, the whole crew, Nadine, Jake, the whole crew, Baxter, Trueheart. Oh, Trueheart. But anyway, let's get to this. Second Nature, getting an exclusive interview with notoriously reclusive horror writer Hunter Brown was all Celebrity Magazine reporter Lee Radcliffe ever wanted. But when Hunter agrees to interview on the condition that Lee conducted on a camping trip, she can hardly refuse. After spending some time alone with the seductively mysterious author, Lee discovers the only thing she wants is Hunter. One summer, spending traveling across America with a cynical, brooding photojournalist, Shady Colby was not celebrity photographer Brian Mitchell's idea of a dream assignment. When Brian will have to manage for an entire summer if she wants the fabulous cross-country photo shoot for her book. While they're both salivating over, however, Brian and Shade disagree about everything. See what happens. Eva Gates. Death by Beach Read. Another cozy. So we threw in a couple of cozies. Actually, 4 cozies. It's spring in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and Lucy and Connor have moved into their new home at last. A historic cottage on Nag's Head Beach. The house needs a lot of renovations, but they worked hard over the winter to get it ready. Lucy is now happily immersed in her work in the Bodie Island Lighthouse Library, planning her wedding and decorating her house. That is until a dead body interrupts vacation. We're going to do these for the channel soon. We've been doing these. Maddie Day, Murder at Cape Cod Bookstore. Everyone loves a festival, though Mac has a few concerns about the spring equinox event organizer by the new Chamber of Commerce director Wagner Lovey. After all, March weather is unpredictable. Still, there's plenty to enjoy between flower-shaped candies at Salty Taffy's, a spring rolls at Rusty Anchor, and a parade of decorating bicycles. Mac owns a bike shop, and she repairs bicycles. And I love her parrot, because her parrot talks. It's a type of parrot. It's called something else. Another cozy, A Killer Plot, Ellery Adams. Olivia Limages is the consent of constant group ever since she came back to town. A return as mysterious as her departure. Olivia has kept to herself, her dog, and her unfinished novel. With a cajoling from the eminent, charming writer Camden Ford, she agrees to join the Bayside book writers, break her writer's block, and even make a few friends. The horror book, or the non-horror book, or the sort of kind of horror book by a non-horror writer. The Beach House, the Summer House. That was the other one I was going to get, the Beach House. It's upstairs. I forgot all about it till just a second ago. I was going to use that as my book. There is a book called The Beach House. It's upstairs on the pile. Once a luxurious summer getaway on a rustic island now reduced to a dilapidated crash pad, the summer house is the grisly scene of a nighttime mass murder. Eyewitnesses point to 4 Army Rangers known as the Ninja Squad recently returned from Afghanistan. Yeah, it's going to drive me crazy that I forgot that book. All right. We're going to do... I did that one. All right, we'll do 2. I went to all the trouble of doing these. I did that. I did her. All right, let's just get to this one. I'm going to do 2 Emily Henrys. All right, the first one is a brand new one. The Great Big Beautiful Life. Alicia Scott is an eternal optimist still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden Anderson is a Pulitzer Prize winning human thundercloud, and they're both on balmy little Crescent Island for the same reason, to write the biography of a woman who no one has seen in years, or at least to meet with the octogenarian who claims to be the Margaret Ives tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and the daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. All right, so that's the first one. All right, the second one is Book Lovers. And this, if they had, I read this first 11, 12 chapters of this book. The video is January of 2024. If I remember, I'll put a link up. I never remember anything. But what would have made this book better would have been if a murder mystery was too far to go, at least put looking for a missing manuscript, or looking for a missing treasure, or looking for a secret room, or something. Just a little mystery. A little something extra. instead of just the character angst. I need more from a book than just character angst. Most of the vampires and stuff, there's something else besides the character angst. There's a mystery going on. There's something they have to unravel. There's something going on there. There's something else besides the character angst. The lady up there, Miss Vampire Anita Blake, for the first few, there's also a mystery. A detective murdering. There's murder mysteries for the first 10 or 12 of those. Then she gets too much in the character angst. But she's still a cop and stuff like that. And if you wait just 1 second, let me get this. So that's how I would have made that one. If there had just been a little mystery to it. Looking for a lost manuscript, hidden room, something. Yeah, millions and millions and millions of people bought this book. It stayed on the bestseller for a long time. Check out my review for 2024, January 2024. I'll try to put the link in. But, I got another book for you. I just thought of this. This one. It's got mystery. And I'm waiting for the new one. There's a new one coming out last month. I'm waiting to get it. It's on order. So I'm waiting to get this. Not this one. The next one. The Malfi Curse, I think. Something like that. This is a woman who, her and her husband are going to celebrate the 30th. I don't even need these. I might need them. 30th wedding anniversary. And they're going to go to London. And on the day before, she catches him in bed with someone. So she takes the trip alone. She goes to London. And while she's outside of the hotel, this guy approaches her. And, I forget what it's called. It's said in the book. But they go, it's called something. I forget what it's called. They go into the Thames when the tide goes out. And they're allowed to take stuff off the surface. No digging, just take stuff off the surface. And she finds this little apothecary bottle. And she traces the history of it and because of its location, because it's down an alley, because no one ever goes down there, a whole bunch of perfect circumstances. The shop is the exact same way the owner left it the day she died. All the bottles are still there. All her books are still there. Everything has not been touched or moved since the day the owner walked out 200 years ago. It is just like, oh, I want to be there. I want to go through all those records of all her customers. You could do some genealogy out of that. No, the people lived here in this town, and these are the people that lived here in this town. You could at least prove location, like a census. You wouldn't get any other information, but you would at least know that these people lived in this town and were her customer 200 years ago. And all the bottles and all the potions and it's just awesome. Go check out my review for this one. The Lost Apothecary. Anybody ever asked for a book to read, this is the book I recommend. So that was today's extra long If Then. I hope you stayed for the whole thing. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you enjoy the beach.